Our next guest is making his first appearance on the show. Please welcome the director of San Diego's Health and Human Services Agency, Nick Macchione.
There he is. What's up, Nick? How you doing, man?
To be here with you.
Good to see you. Yes, we've been sharing the airwaves on the radio, ESPN 1700, last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun. I've been learning about what you're doing to help San Diego, especially through the Live Well program, which is what you're here to talk about today.
Yeah. Very excited, and I think you said it best. It's about we and what, as a region, a number of folks coming together trying to get San Diego to be the healthiest, safest region in the entire country.
Now, this is a huge deal because a lot of, every city wants to be safe. They want their, they want their residents to live well. Mm-hmm. But you've accomplished something that no one in the country has accomplished. I mean, you've got a huge organization. What, 6,000 people who work for you?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, other places across the country, they're trying to copy what you're doing. So tell us, first of all, what's the secret sauce, man? How do you make something like this happen?
Yeah, we're blessed in San Diego of having a region where people do care and working together. I mean, that's really the secret sauce. It starts with trust and working relationships, and then you get to amazing visions and strategies and so forth. But we were very fortunate in having our county board of supervisors, these are the elected officials, that had the trust to work together to say, you know what, we could do better as a region. We don't need to look to our state capital or to DC for the solutions. We have it from within. And it's coming together and figuring out what are those things that matter for San Diego to become healthier, to become safer, so we could be thriving.
So let me ask you a question, because it seems like every time I look on the news, I hear something about childhood obesity being this epidemic and crazy numbers about the percentage of kids that are obese. Do you think that it all starts with the youth? Is that a big focus for you guys?
It is. And in fact, back in the year 2010, there was a real sad statistic, and that was the kids born in 2010 had a shorter life expectancy than all of us.
Wow.
Now that's changing. But the wake up across the country was we have to do something with the kids. Mm-hmm. And you didn't have to look far but school and see in places like Chula Vista. I'll give you an example of it's the second largest school district in the state of California. There are now 30,000 kids in that school district. It's like a small city, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
But back in 2010, the superintendent Francisco Escobedo, and his board and their teachers looked around, and you know what they saw? That nearly half, actually 40%, but almost half, in some grade levels, 3/4 of the kids were overweight or obese.
Wow.
Kids were staying home, they were sick, they weren't coming to school to learn, which is the principal part of what education's about. So they reached out and said, they did all the traditional things they might do, but said, could we work together beyond the walls of the school with part of Live Well San Diego? We said, absolutely. And we came together, and they really were the leaders in this. But we brought in the community, we brought in our nurses and social workers, we brought in the hospitals and the physicians to give the education with their school personnel, and a remarkable thing happened. In a 4-year period, and it's still going on, it was a 13% reduction in the number of kids who were overweight or obese.
13% total percentage?
Of the nearly, at that time, 26,000 kids.
That's crazy. Wow. So you're talking about thousands of kids.
Thousands. As the superintendent said, he would fill up an entire several schools with the number of kids that went into healthy weight. So I'm talking about kids that then started showing up, as the motto goes, strong body, strong mind.
Yeah. Back
in the seats where they need to be, learning, but very importantly, exciting around wellness, and then bringing it back like you and I talked about. How are they bringing it back to their home with their parents?
And that's the thing. Yeah, it seems to me like we have to go to the kids, not just because the numbers are crazy about childhood obesity and things like that, but because I think parents learn more from their kids these days than the other way around. It seems like at some point it's switched.
I was going to ask, is this like a chicken versus the egg type of issue? Does it come from the parents, or should we start with the kids?
It's a great,
does it work both ways?
It's a great question and thought there, because really it's collective impact. It comes at the same time. It's the kids to the parents. It's getting to the parents to the kids. It's happening where the parents work in their employment site. It's happening where the kids are going to the community center or their house of worship. It's all different places where we go. That's the magic sauce. How are we getting all the different sectors, businesses, schools, government, community, law enforcement, coming together a single vision around wellness? And when that happens, you're hearing it in many sites, reinforcement. So in Chula Vista, they had a hard choice, real hard choice. Their biggest fundraiser event was cheesy nachos. Right? Kids loved it.
Not so healthy.
Parents loved it. Had to go, right?
Yeah.
So that they chose that. Now, what was interesting is it was a tough choice.
Yeah.
But that first step actually made them part of that whole journey on wellness. And the kids were going back to their parents saying, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, we can't be throwing all this cheese. Maybe we got to use yogurt. So the parents started thinking, okay, if my kid is saying that, I got to do it. So then we started seeing movement. And by the way, not just the kid and the parent, teachers, the administrators. So it was a whole collective impact, the community. And that's what's exciting is that what happened in Chula Vista now, we developed tools for schools, lessons learned, and small steps leading to big efforts, big outcomes. We're sharing it now with all school districts. You know, we have 650,000 school-age kids in San Diego.
Oh my.
Not all of them are overweight.
How many school districts are there in San Diego?
42.
42
Oh
school
my
districts. So you're
gosh,
taking what you
wow.
did in Chula Vista and extrapolating that out
Yeah,
to 42
and we're very blessed because we have phenomenal people like that superintendent, Escobedo, who with us developed this tool for schools, and we went to the County Board of Education, who are partners, by the way. And what's happened is we have every school district as a Live Well partner, which is voluntary, saying, we stand with you to create wellness. So they're taking it into their school districts, and some have, less than 40% or so. But whatever it is, every child has to be healthy, safe, and thriving. That is Live Well San Diego, and it's exciting because it's really from within. We're doing it ourselves.
Is this overall movement, is it really just sort of like getting back to the basics? The simple things that we all sort of know, like you're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day and get, exercise regularly. Is it that type of stuff, or is it more complex than that?
Well, you got it. I call it potent simplicity, and it gets back to the basics of what do you do to your body. Yeah, it is about going to the basics. We call it 3 for 50, 3 lifestyles that lead to 4 chronic diseases, which means you could reduce those 4 diseases, but those 4 diseases in San Diego lead to over half of all deaths in San Diego. The 3 lifestyles, is poor diet, lack of exercise, and smoking. And they lead to things like cancer and heart disease and diabetes and asthma. And we know the literature shows that almost 70%, upwards of 75% of those 4 chronic diseases could be prevented if we could have a healthy diet, do good to our bodies, exercise every day, don't smoke or do drugs. And so that whole 3-4-50 movement was a key piece of the first thing of Live Well around health. How do we get San Diegans to be healthier? And it's about that accountability, but some people do need help. Access to healthy places to buy foods, so the food distribution, but education at all points. So people started paying attention. And it's the little things that you can make that lead to the big outcomes down the road.
No question, especially with something like this, because you're trying to make this the new thing. Like you're trying to take something like health and wellness and make it not a fad, but make it something that's here to stay. And so that, and it's everyone knows it's important, but this is huge. So tell me this, Nick, how can people get involved? Somebody's watching this show right now who says, that's awesome, I want to know more about it, I want to do more with it. They've been seeing the website on the screen the whole time, so they've probably already gone there. But what can they do physically to help and participate?
Great question. It's what you're laying out, and you mentioned it. It's a social movement of not big government, not institutions. It's really San Diegans helping San Diegans, and that social movement around wellness, which is around that call to action of what you can do. We are in the mecca of walkathons and everything else, right, going on. And sometimes you need, to be among others to help you kind of motivate. So there's two events I know that, and there's many, but for example, coming up in February, it's Heart Month. Heart disease, #1 killer of women in San Diego and the country. It's also second leading cause of death for men. So a simple thing one could do is know their numbers, blood pressure. So I'm on Valentine's Day, and it's on Sunday this year, so we're going to do our event on February 11th. We do a big event called Love Your Heart. We started this about 4 years ago with Supervisor Ron Roberts, and who led that as his call to action for his state of the county. We started 4 years ago. We had 1,000 people who voluntarily throughout San Diego took their blood pressure. So we'd said to people, if you love someone enough to give roses or chocolate, and you got to be there for them in the long haul, it means you got to know your own health, know your numbers. Let me fast forward it. Last February, nearly 21,000 San Diegans took their blood pressure. 88 sites we had throughout, all voluntary, all free, made it easy, made it the easy choice to do, right, in an 8-hour period. The exciting thing to us was it was a movement we saw collective. So this February 11th, take your blood pressure, but not just once. Get it going, and then keep up with it every month, right? But we have other events like the Live Well 5K. That's going to be on July 30th. Real fun event. Nearly 4,000 people are going to hang out at the waterfront park, do a nice walk around the Embarcadero. But it's providing education to families. It's giving them that access to knowledge, really, and those choices. So there are many more events, and the issue is take note of that. You know, take that first step in doing something to improve your health and that of your loved ones.
Join the movement. Highly recommend it. Obviously, everyone wants to live well. This is a great way to not try to reinvent the wheel, but to get on board with the program that's working the best of any in the country of its kind. Nick Macchione, really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in today.
I'll be here with you. Thank you.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.